My name is Olga, and I'm the Corporate Membership Development Manager here at the RSS. And I'll be taking you through who the RSS are and what we do. Touching a bit on the history of the RSS and how we make a difference in the data and statistical world. The majority of you will know all of this, but just a quick run through and a bit of a background of who we are. I will be explaining the reasons why you should be looking to upgrade your membership with us, as you've had sort of an experience as an e-student with us so far. So it'd be good to know the sort of next set of benefits that you'll get once you upgrade your membership, and the different initiatives that the RSS have for you to get involved in. And I'll also demonstrate what the membership levels and awards and professional development looks like for you as well, with the society, as well as what you need to do to accomplish those as well. So who are we? So we were founded in 1834, for those of you who didn't know, so we've been around for quite a few years, and we're one of the world's leading organisations advocating for the importance of statistics and data. We're a professional body for all statisticians and data analysts, or anyone who has a general interest in stats or in data, no matter where you live in the world or work in the world. So we're open to absolutely everybody. At the moment, we have just over 11,000 members in the UK and across the world. And as a charity, we advocate for the key role of statistics and data in society. And we work to ensure that policy formulation and decision making are informed by evidence and always for the public good. Right, so for those of you who don't know what we do, just to run a quick, just to quickly go through what we do and how we do our work and how we carry it out as a society in general. So through our research and our key objective is for statistics to be used effectively in the public interest, so that policy formulation and decision making are informed by solid evidence. So to support this work, from time to time, we usually commission research, expert panels or working groups or workshops, and sometimes in partnership with other organisations as well, to investigate issues from which reports are published too. So the RSS regularly contributes to the media, and if you haven't seen us in the media, do follow us on our sort of social media channels, for example, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you'll be able to see what kind of topics that relate to statistics and data science that we get involved in. We are committed to ensuring the correct use of statistics in the media as well, and our statistical ambassadors regularly provide background statistical expertise to journalists looking for any evidence from us. So the RSS have various policy groups as well and task forces, which you may or may not be already involved in, and they are pretty much member-led. So just to give you an example of some that we have, we've got the Academic Affairs Advisory Group, we've got the COVID-19 Task Force, we have the Education Policy and Advisory Group, for example. So this is just some examples of workforces and task forces that we've put together to help with sort of decision making, I guess, and making sure that all the policy work that we do and research is up to standard. The RSS helps professional statisticians keep up to date with their skills. So hopefully you've experienced that whilst using your eStudent membership with us, and upkeep their CPD through delivery of online, in-company and public courses too. So our aim there is to meet the needs of professional statisticians, helping them keep their skills up to date and relevant, which is very important, as well as non-statisticians as well, or users of statistics who want to understand the basics of statistics and data analysis to help them either in their roles, perhaps in their day-to-day jobs, or in their personal lives too. So all of our courses are developed and delivered using the expertise that we have as a renowned professional society. Our accreditation process as well provides a valuable endorsement for institutions offering programmes in statistics, and it's related disciplines at honours degree and master's level too. So by awarding this accreditation to universities, we hope to ensure the teaching and the learning and the assessment within a programme or a course or a module is of high quality, and it meets the needs of students and employers alike as well. So as well as recognising excellence, we also seek to improve standards of learning and teaching too. So we do this through effective partnerships with institutions and sharing good practice too. So our accreditation scheme also provides students with a competitive edge as well in a challenging job market. And the society is basically run by its members for its members. So we rely on their collective expertise to carry out the work that we do across the society. And we offer ample volunteering opportunities, which I'll go in a bit later on what these initiatives look like. But they're basically volunteering opportunities for members who want to offer their skills to good causes. And in return for your time, you'll also have the opportunity to share your experiences and develop your network, widen those networks and learn new skills in the process. So apart from the sort of initiatives that we already have, the Society, the Royal Statistical Society is part currently of an alliance of organisations that have come together to create industry-wide professional standards for data science. It aims to ensure an ethical and well-governed approach so that the public, the organisations and governments can have confidence in how their data is being used. So this alliance is committed to defining the standards of professional competence and behaviour expected of people who work with data which impacts life and livelihoods as well. And these include data scientists, these could be data engineers, for example, data analysts, and any data stewards, for example. It sort of aims to use an open source process to maintain and update these standards. The Alliance also they deliver these standards as data science certifications offered by the Alliance members to their professional members too, with the processes to hold certified members accountable for the professional status in this area. They use these standards as a criteria for Alliance members to accredit data science degrees and data science modules of associated degrees as contributing to the certifications that are sort of available to apply for. And they also use a single. They also are creating a single searchable public register for certified data science professionals. Which, if you were to take that route, you'd be part of that register. So the Alliance have created an award, which I'll go into a bit more detail a bit later on how to sort of apply for this award and sort of get the certificates under your name. But they've created an Advanced Data Science Professional Award, which is a new certificate providing formal recognition of a member's qualifications, professional training, and experience within the field of data science. It's assessed against industry-wide standards set by this alliance, and RSS members are able to gain this new form of recognition by evidencing that they meet particular areas of skills and knowledge, as well as their level of responsibility within the data science field. So whilst those awarded the certificate will not be required to pay any additional upgrade fees, there is a yearly charge of holding the certificate that will be added to your membership fee. But I'll go through this in a little bit more detail a bit later. So if we look at the current grades that we do have, so you've probably identified one that you're already in, which is the e-student membership, and our membership grades offer something for everyone at any stage of their professional life. So whether you're starting out in your career, whether you're a student or a recent graduate, for example, or perhaps a more mature student who has a few more years experience behind them, you may have a level of seniority in your role, for example, and have many years of work experience, or just perhaps someone with an interest in data and analysis or statistics. There's a level for everybody. So I won't go into the sort of intricate bits that you receive as an e-student, as I hope you have sort of benefited from them and used them. So, for example, you may have already been reading our fortnightly electronic newsletter that you get. You get your free access to Significance magazine through the website or the iOS and Android apps. And hopefully you've had the opportunity to get involved in the Young Statisticians section, the YSS group, who have you may have gone to some of their events and some of their social events that they hold as well. And there's quite a lot that you have had with your sort of free membership with us so far. So you may be thinking at this stage, okay, well, just by joining the webinar already, you're showing your interest in upgrading or wanting to find out more about how to upgrade, whether it be now, whether it be a bit later in 2023, no problem at all. But just wanted to go through the what you would gain if you were to upgrade. So some people just naturally at this stage they probably don't know exactly where they want to go and what award they want to have and want to apply for, or what they can actually apply for. So yeah, the purpose of today is hopefully to give you that understanding of what you need to be able to apply for the professional awards. But some people do go on to our most popular form, which is our fellow grade. And this one is open to absolutely everybody of any interest in statistics or data science at any stage of their career. So right from people who are just students now and don't have any form of experience, right through to professional and more senior sort of data professionals there. You'll have access to a range of benefits designed to keep you up to date with the latest developments in the world of statistics and help you further develop your career if you haven't been able to do that so far. So joining as a fellow, what you'll have is the opportunity to further your career, like I said, with professional accreditation. You'll have access to our publications, including more electronic newsletters and our digital journals, for example, as well as a print subscription of the Significance magazine. If you did want to just continue to receive the Significance magazine online, that's an option that you can still access there. You have the opportunity to take part in our volunteering initiatives. I think previously, as under the eStudent sort of membership, you had to be co-opted into volunteering and sort of being part of sections and local groups, but you can now actually actively, if you were to upgrade up to fellow, for example, you'd be able to take part in those initiatives there. You may have heard of Statisticians for Society, for example. You'll be able to have an active role there now. You'll be able to connect with other members at events held across the UK and abroad. You'll also have voting rights in council elections to help shape the future of the RSS and its activities. So, like I mentioned before, that we are a member-led society, so it's very much dependent on your and your help and expertise to take us forward as a society as well. And then you'll have exclusive member discounts with major publishers and IT equipment from Dell Technologies as well. So we do recommend applying for perhaps the fellow grade if you're not sure what award you want to apply for a bit later and get more of that professional recognition, but we'll go on to that in the next few slides. So as I've mentioned, we work hard as a society to ensure that the profession of statistics is valued in the wider world and support members along a defined professional pathway, right from university to professional practice. And we do this by accrediting university courses, like I've mentioned, offering continuing professional development, CPD, and recognising achievement through professional accreditation. So the awards within the professional pathway recognise a combination of education, experience, competence and commitment to ethics at a higher level. They give your employer and your future employers, contractors and collaborators of statisticians a level of assurance that you are a highly skilled stats or data professional. And they also have a valuable addition to your CV. So in this competitive job market now, more and more people are looking for statisticians and data users as data professionals. So they give you that sort of stamp on your CV and make you stand out from the crowd, from those who are unregistered with any of our professional pathways. So some of you may be thinking, well, actually, I have been looking at the professional pathways, but I'm just really not sure which one to apply for, which one applies to me in my stage of my career. So it's just important to start off by sort of saying, before I go into the intricate parts of what each one, what you need for each level, for each award, it's probably best to sort of point out that actually, at the end of the day, it comes down to your personal circumstances. And obviously, everyone has a different level of experience, from none to a lot, and that's where we have the sort of guidance for each level on the website that you can all have a look at, and you'll be able to hopefully identify where you fit in according to the guidance of what you need for each of these awards. But if you were looking at the data analyst, it's a registered form of professional membership status, which provides formal recognition of a member's statistical training and work-based evidence at an entry level. So holders here are considered to be registered as an RSS data analyst. That's what you'll be called, if you like. So joining as a data analyst is your first step to professional status and a stepping stone to gaining the GradStat or the CStats certification awards later. So I mentioned previously the sort of benefits that you do get if you do upgrade as a fellow, for example. But if you were to apply for data analyst, you get the ones that the fellows get, as well as the use of the data analyst post-nominal designation and digital badge. You'll have networking opportunities through the Professional Statisticians Network. And you'll be able to get further discounts and more sort of significant discounts for society conferences, for example, that we do annually, events that we hold, and also the training courses that I mentioned as well. So I'll go into the criteria and the sort of entry requirements of data analyst a bit later, but if you are unsure if this is the right level for you, even after the webinar, or even looking at the guidance on the website, the RSS team is more than happy, the membership team are more than happy to liaise with applicants individually and to help you determine which route is the most suitable based on your individual circumstance. Moving on to graduate statistician, GradStat. Membership is for those with a statistics-based degree or a degree with significant statistical content. So this includes theory, methods, and practice as well. So it's for those who want to further their statistical career towards CStat and demonstrate to employers or their commitment to best practice and ethical conduct. So there is a competency-based route for this award, and I'll go through that a bit later if you can't identify with the academics that you need for this particular grade. So graduate statistician is a grade of professional membership that formally recognises members' statistical qualifications for up to 10 years from when the qualification was awarded. So from the date awarded. And in addition to the benefits enjoyed by the fellows that I've mentioned earlier, GradStat, just like data analyst, you get the use of the digital badge, the post-nominal designation there, GradStat, as you see on the screen. Oh, apologies for that. Jumping ahead. Let's just go back to GradStat. So you get the digital badge there that you can see on the screen. You'll have access to the Society's GradStat mentoring scheme, where you will be mentored by a CStat member on the professional development required for your application to become a CStat. So if you did want to sort of pursue that route, and you were quite committed to doing that, definitely recommend getting yourself onto the mentoring scheme, because then you're aligned with a CStat member who has similar background or similar interests to you, and then they're able to sort of help you develop a sort of mentoring relationship, providing you advice on how to maintain your CPD, for example. Perhaps they could divulge into career progression, for example, and how you could do that potentially. But ultimately, the relationship here is to prepare a GradStat to apply for the chartered statistician. So you'll also have opportunity to, again, get involved with the Professional Statisticians Network, where you can just meet more people, more professionals, and widen your networks and sort of share best practices as well. And then again, you'll get those discounts, as mentioned earlier, on conferences, events, and courses that the Society run. Moving on to CSTAT now. Chartered Statistician is our highest professional award within this pathway that you can obtain. So it provides formal recognition of a member's statistical qualifications and professional training, as well as experience too. So a CSTAT is a respected designation and has many benefits for professionally active statisticians. In addition to the benefits that you enjoy as a fellow, for example, again, you get the postnominal designation, so you can put that on your emails, or if you're sort of thinking of setting up your own, or you might have your own consultancy-based type business, then you can use that to show people instantly what level of statistician you are, or data professional. You'll have the opportunity to participate again in that mentoring scheme that I mentioned, but this time as the mentor, helping aspiring chartered statisticians achieve their applications. You can get further discounts again, and more significant discounts on the conference that we run every year, events and courses as well. Again, you've still got access to that professional statisticians network. You'll also have the opportunity to promote any consultancy services. So just touching on the sort of doing your own kind of consultancy work, if you do that or choose to do that in the future, you'll be able to sort of promote yourself in our consultants directory, which you can find on the website under the Chartered Statistician section, and benefits there. And you'll also have access to professional indemnity insurance as well, so PII, with Towergate Insurance, who have set up a scheme specifically for chartered statisticians, including holders of MIS, MIS, or FIS, FIS, and also graduate statisticians too, giving them extensive cover too. Right, so looking at the requirements now. So if you remember the pathways, the two sort of pyramid things that we mentioned that on one of the previous slides, you had one that showed the route of going from data analyst to graduate statistician and to chartered statistician. So that's what we're focusing on now, and the requirements for that pathway. So to fulfill the requirements for data analyst, you'll need to join as a fellow first. And then you'll also need to have at least 1 year's work experience. Any relevant work experience or practical professional statistical experience will be considered there. You'll need to show us at least 30 hours of continued professional development. So you'll need to evidence 30 hours of CPD. And this can be evidenced by submitting a completed RSS CPD activity summary document, which is available on the website again. And some members have fed back that it's actually been quite handy to keep track of their CPD as they've been professionally moving on in their career. You'll have a data analyst has you should have good knowledge and training in entry level statistics, and you have a criteria that you can follow, which will detail exactly what knowledge and training you need there. But yeah, you need to have a good knowledge of the sort of entry level sort of statistics there. You'd have to have undertaken sufficient statistical training, either as part of the RSS quality marked courses or course that meet this standard. If the module or the training course that you've undertaken, or any training that you've undertaken, is not accredited by the RSS, then you must be able to evidence how it meets the criteria. So again, referencing that criteria, which is available again on the website. You need to have to look at that carefully and just see how you evidence that by providing additional information about the module or the courses that you've taken. And you can see on our accreditation pages on our website for more details about the specific requirements for this particular level as well. But those are the sort of highlight requirements for that particular grade. Moving on to graduate statisticians, we're looking at the middle section there of the screen. To become a graduate statistician, again, you'll need to join as a fellow first. And then to gain the GradStat status, you will then need one of the following. And remember, it is just one of the next three things that I'll mention. So you need one of the following: either a completed UK honours degree, and it'd have to be like a second class honours or above, or a higher degree. You'd have to have an appropriate overseas degree. If you don't have a UK one, it'd have to be an appropriate overseas one. And in some certain instances, an MSc may be required as well on top of your overseas degree there. Or you've got the graduate diploma of the society. So it's worth noting that there are two routes at this point that you can take to gain GradStat. You've got the standard route, or you've got the competence-based routes. So to qualify for the standard route, you must have, again, one of the next two things that I mentioned. So you'll need to have graduated with an RSS accredited degree, and again, meeting all conditions there. And again, all that information is available on the website on what those courses are. Or you would have to have qualified with a non-accredited degree, but again, you can evidence that you meet the RSS graduate grad stat criteria. So you may not have so you might look on the list and think, well, actually my degree's not on there or my university's not on there. Not a problem. Just look at the criteria and just say how you meet the criteria there. If you're going down the competence-based route, you'll need, again, one of the following of the next things that I mentioned. So going down the competence route generally means that you don't have that accredited degree. So you hold a non-accredited degree up to level 6 or 7 degree or equivalent there. That you have undertaken sufficient statistical training, either as part of the RSS quality mark courses or course that meet this standard. Or you'd need to have at least 2 years work experience. Sorry, you do need to have all these. You need to have 2 years work experience within a statistical role. You will, as part of the application, be asked a series of competence-based questions as part of the application if you're going down the competence-based route. And you'll have to be able to supply evidence of your CPD again for the past year, and that needs to total 60 hours of learning. So moving on to charter statistician. So again, you've got the two routes there. So you have to fulfill to fulfill this one. It's a similar concept to the grad stat. You have the standard route or the competence-based route. If you're going down the standard route for charter statistician, you'd need, again, one of the following areas that I mentioned now. So you are perhaps currently a holder of the grad stat status with at least 5 years work experience within a statistical role. You might have graduated with an RSS accredited degree, for example, and you meet all the conditions stated on the website and have at least 5 years work experience within a statistical role again. Or you may have qualified with a non-accredited degree, but again, you can evidence that you meet the CSTAT standards, which are again available on the website. Plus, you'd need to have, again, those 5 years work experience within a statistical role. So for some of you, this may be way ahead in your career, but it's just worth sort of noting what you need when you get there. For the CSTAT status to go down the competence-based route, you'd need to be, we're assuming that you are currently a member of the society holding fellowship status with or without data analyst, and you have graduated with a non-accredited degree at level 6 or 7 or equivalent there. With sufficient statistical knowledge and have at least, again, those 5 years work experience within a statistical role. And again, for this grade, for the CSTAT, you will be asked a series of competence-based questions as part of your application going down the competence-based route. Again, it's worth highlighting before I move on to the next ones that both the CSTAT route, standard or competence-based route, you do have to include at least 2 referees. So one of these referees need to be a statistician themselves. So not both of them have to be statisticians, but at least one of them do. And you have to have known them in the last sort of 5 years. And they also both require to evidence CPD that they've undertaken as well. And it needs to equal to 2 years worth of CPD. So they have to evidence 120 hours worth of continuing professional development. So moving on to the next sort of set of pathway that you can take. So if you were thinking that perhaps your career is going to take a bit more of a data science kind of route, we do have a route available for you. Just before I start going into kind of like the intricate parts of what you need, just to highlight that at the moment, the data science professional, which is the middle block there on the screen, is not available to apply for just yet, but we are almost there, just ironing out some standards and policies to go with this one. But yeah, at the moment it's not available for application. So I won't focus on the requirements there, but they're on the screen and they're for you to reference at a later date. What I am going to reference to is the Advanced Data Science Professional, which has just recently been launched, and we have a few people already applied down this route. So I'll be talking about the requirements for this one, if that's the sort of angle you want to take a bit further in your career. So being an advanced data science professional, certified, it is actually a very powerful endorsement, not only for your professional expertise, but also for your support of an ethical and well-governed industry as well, ensuring that everyone can have confidence in how their data is being used. So an advanced data science professional certificate is a mark of quality and distinction. Certification, this certification enhances your CV just like the others do as well, but within a more data science angle. And it reflects well on the organisation that you work for as well, and facilitates recruiting like-minded professionals as well. So all certified individuals will be included on a register of certified data science professionals hosted by each of the awarding members of the alliance that we spoke about a bit earlier, of data science professionals. So it's worth highlighting now that prior to beginning your formal application for the data science for the advanced data science professional, all applicants are expected to have completed a self-assessment form first, available at the Alliance website, access through our website. And completing this self-assessment will provide guidance as to which Alliance member and level of certificate that you are appropriate to. So the form should then be supported by a completed application based on the original information provided. So applicants applying to be a certified advanced data science professional must do so via the competency-based route only. So at this point, it's worth saying to be aware that whilst different alliance members may have differences in how an application is assessed, the information requested and assessed remains exactly the same. So applicants should be educated to at least a level 6 within the UK qualifications framework, or graduated with a relevant degree in an appropriate subject, and evidence should be provided of at least some formal training within data science, either as part of their degree or achieved by other methods. So in addition to this, applicants must meet all other criteria, which includes, typically you'd need to have 5 years relevant work experience again. You need to provide at least 2 years worth of evidence for CPD. And you have to be able to evidence that you meet the competencies and level of responsibilities of the Advanced Data Science Professional Certificate via the chosen assessment method of the awarding society that you'll be getting a certificate from. So I hope that's given you a bit of a taste of what that looks like and what potentially taking this route would look like. But like I said, at the moment, the Advanced Data Science Professional is available for applications. The Data Science Professional will soon be launched. So far, I've referenced quite a lot about CPD. You're probably bored of hearing me talk about CPD already, but it is so important to uphold. The CPD is really important for your RSS professional membership, and for you to keep up to date with your skills, your knowledge. And the RSS try their best to help offer as many great initiatives to help you to do this as well. So you probably think at this stage, okay, CPD, fine. But what is CPD and what counts as CPD? So CPD is a combination of approaches. It's a combination of ideas and techniques for continued learning throughout your career. And it aims to keep you up to date with advancements in your field that you choose to work in or are working in, so you can develop as a professional. And an active interest in CPD is pretty much common practice for pretty much all professionals, really, that uphold a sort of awarded professional membership with any sort of within any industry. So it is important for the development of the profession and the maintenance of modern standards that all practicing statisticians should view CPD as a vital part of their personal review process. And CPD enhances the credibility of the profession. And the Royal, again, like I've mentioned, the Royal Statistical Society encourages all its members to and requires its professionally qualified members specifically to follow a process of continuous professional review throughout their studies, onto career, onto whatever they move on to. So it's really an important element of your application, particularly particularly, excuse me, if you're going down the professional pathways. So what is CPD and what is defined as CPD? So the RSS have sort of chopped down CPD into 4 sort of categories. You've got work-based learning. So work-based learning could be experiential learning, for example, like learning on the job, gaining and learning from experience. But if your role expands, you get exposed to more responsibilities. So again, you're learning new skills and getting involved in bigger projects, perhaps. Maybe in-service training, so this might include orientation programs, standard operating procedures, and employee development, for example. Work shadowing, sometimes we work shadow just to get an understanding of how another team works, that you might actually work with another team. You might want to shadow them for a few weeks, hours, whatever it might be that your manager allows you to do. So that also counts as CPD. Peer review of your own work, so including presentations, for example, to colleagues, presentations to external clients, perhaps regulators or policy makers. So all this counts as work-based learning. Moving on to professional activity. So looking at professional activity and how you could evidence that, this may be involvement. You may have involvement in the management of a professional body, for example. So you may be an officer or an organizer or a committee member or a working group member. That is professional. That counts towards professional activity. Perhaps outside of work, you may be, I don't know, perhaps a supervisor for research, for example. So it might not be your day-to-day, but you may be sort of involved in perhaps lecturing, for example, or teaching new material, giving presentations, for example, or being a discussant at conferences or scientific meetings, for example. You may be coaching, you may be mentoring. All this counts towards professional activity. Looking at formal education, so undertaking a program of learning, for example, or research for an academic qualification, for example, will count as formal or educational CPD. Attending training courses, so outside of what you do on a day-to-day, you may be attending some training courses, conferences even, scientific meetings. All this counts towards formal or educational CPD. You might be doing something distance learning, so it might be related. It might be something that you're doing on the side, out of your kind of studies or your working role during the day to day. So you might be doing something completely different, maybe related to statistics in some way. That will count towards your formal and educational CPD. That's just some examples of that particular section of CPD. And then we have finally your self-directed learning. So a lot of us do kind of read lots of books and read journals, for example. The Significance magazine, for example, could be something that you would count towards your CPD. Reviewing and summarising books and articles, if you're into that counts towards a self-directed learning. Googling even, you're asked to do a particular piece of research and you're just not sure what software should be used, or and you Google it. That's also part of your self-directed learning, because you're actively learning something new through the powers of Google. So I hope this has given you a bit of an understanding of what CPD looks like, and how we regard it as quite an important part of your applications and your what you upgrade into in the future. So how does the RSS help with your CPD? Well, you can do this by becoming a reviewer or an associate editor for our journals, for example. So when you upgrade up to from fellow and onwards, you'll start getting access to specific journals. You can review those or be an associate editor for those if you've got that sort of interest. You can also attend a discussion meeting where an author presents their paper, followed by a discussion for it, and then for it to be published in one of the series of the journals. You can be part of those discussion meetings too. Our sections and local groups, if you haven't looked at them so far, then start having a browse on what's in your area and which ones are in your area. We also have special interest groups. They're always ready to welcome people into their meetings and events, and generally cover a broad subject area that most people will find relevant to their career or their area of interest. Attending our annual conference. So like I've mentioned before, if you upgrade to fellow and onwards and all the other awards, you'll start getting quite good sort of member discounts there to attend the conference, where you can listen to topical talks and research within the profession and meet other professionals to share and exchange knowledge and expertise. That's another form of CPD. To help with your formal training, the RSS have a variety of courses that you can undertake as well and that you can book with generous discounts there once you become a member with us. So all courses are developed and delivered using the expertise that we have as a renowned professional society. And as much as we have established reputation as a trusted training provider, we have tutors who are experienced in their field of expertise and as trainers too. So we have courses for all levels, from foundation, basic level courses where you don't need any prior knowledge to statistics, and we have courses right through up to professional level aimed at statisticians and data science who are advanced in their knowledge. So here are just some of the reasons and the reminder of why you should continue with your membership and upgrade from eStudent up to from fellow onwards. So you'll have the opportunity to improve your knowledge through getting involved with being a part of our sections and local groups, like I've mentioned earlier, by putting yourself forward of being part of the team. Or you can get involved by attending events and discussions run by the groups, or any of the events that we hold as a society in general. You can keep up to date with the latest news in the statistical world through receiving our email and print newsletters. And, you know, like I mentioned earlier, we do value our members' expertise and knowledge. So you'll have the chance to share best practice by getting involved in our volunteering opportunities, like Statisticians for Society, for example, where you can help us provide pro bono statistical expertise to voluntary community and social expertise enterprises and organisations. You may have heard of our AIMS initiative, which stands for the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, and this helps to support statistical education at AIMS centres in Africa, or even volunteer as a trustee to help charities use data in decision making. So this is just some of the few areas that you can, of the many areas I should say, that you really can make a difference for the greater good. I've mentioned that you can enhance your professional development as well through training courses. So that's another form of CPD that we offer to our members to get involved in, attending events and so on. We also have stats resources for journalists. So if journalism is a route that you think you'd probably want to take, we do have resources for journalists. We also do for teachers and anyone who would like to improve their statistical literacy in general. So I just wanted to quickly debunk some sort of myths that we have and that we hear very often from people when they reach certain stumbling blocks that they feel that they come across, or have, some of them have sort of created themselves, as to why they can't upgrade or they can't join as a member overall. So I mean, this is obviously not your case, but I'm a student and I can't join. Well, a lot of students think that this is because they are currently studying, and may not have the right or enough work experience, and therefore they feel like they can't join. Well, you've proven this is wrong. As a student, you can join, whether you are working or not working. You can definitely become a member with us. So yeah, so I mean, you can certainly share at the end if you wish, on how you've enjoyed your eStudent membership, but you will also benefit from a discounted rate if you are still studying. That you can go on to, you can get a concessionary rate if you upgrade to fellowship. Other people, sort of as they progress in their career, they sort of think, well, I'm not really doing much of the day-to-day anymore. I've got a more senior role. I do less of the data and the stats in the day-to-day. So I'm a manager now. I don't have the right or the relevant work experience to be able to apply for any of the awards. Again, this is wrong. You can still apply at professional level, for example. And we look at your experience as a whole and not just based on the role that you're in now or in the role that you're doing currently. So when you're applying for the professional awards, do look over your career from the start right until up to where you are now at the date of applying, and see where you can evidence any experience against the criteria and the requirement for each level. And like this, you'll get a better understanding of which level is the right one for you too. Another stumbling block, believe it or not, is CPD. And people normally think of CPD as like just doing training. So I have to do lots of training courses, lots of events, lots of, conferences. I have to do all that sort of stuff to be able to meet the criteria. So as I've mentioned, and I hope the previous slides have sort of indicated to you, that actually it's not just formal training that you need to take. It's pretty much the all-rounded sort of, more technical skills, but also the sort of softer skills like presentations and being part of discussion meetings, for example. All these things also count as CPD. So I hope that's kind of debunked a few of the sort of myths that we hear about people not being able to join as a member. So hopefully now you'll see that membership with the RSS, from what you've enjoyed currently as an e-student and going on into professional awards, that the RSS gives you a lot more opportunities to become a better and more knowledgeable professional. And we give you more than just membership with us. It's not just being a member, it's everything else that comes with it and the sort of package that you get as being a member with us. So as a member, you'll be given ample opportunities to further your knowledge through events, through reading about the developments in the profession that the RSS actively take part in as well. And most importantly, you'll be joining a community of like-minded data and statistical professionals that you can share best practices and ideas together. If you are looking to get any future employers or current employers, if you work at the moment, involved in your professional development, then they can also become a member as an employer to be part of our community of corporate partnerships, whereby your employer will receive help with a discount on your membership fees if they are paying, of course, and they will receive help with recruiting for any roles that they might have at a discounted rate as well. What they also get is discounts on in-house training courses. So you can go via your employer. If they become a corporate partner with us, you can go via them to book training courses with you. And that's you proactively trying to get your sort of employer involved in your professional development via the RSS training courses, for example. Your employer will also have the opportunity to increase their exposure through sponsorship of events. And they can also have a presence or sponsor our annual conference every year. And like I mentioned before, they do have discounted rates as well on our jobs website to also advertise for any more roles that they're looking for within the organisation that you will potentially work in or work for currently. So your next step is to continue being a member and finding your route, I guess, and what area you want to go into, and stay within the community that you've just joined or that you have joined over the past year or so as an e-student member. So like I mentioned, you can start this sort of route by becoming a fellow. If you're not sure on what level to start with, or what professional award you want to get involved in, you can go down that route and be a fellow first, get instant access to all the benefits already mentioned throughout the webinar today. You can also get involved in some of our volunteering opportunities as well once you become a bit more, once you become a fellow, for example, and contribute to our policy and education work, for example, if that's an area that you want to sort of get involved in. You can take part in our technical webinars, for example, that we run. You can write for one of our publications if you wish, and have your say in the strategic direction of the society as well. So of any of you who are sort of early career or perhaps looking for work, we'd encourage you to kind of come forward and be part of these communities and have your say from a more kind of, I guess, early years professional, to have a bit more of a fresher outlook on what the RSS should be sort of looking at and focusing their efforts on in the future. So I hope you've enjoyed it today. It's brought us to the end of the webinar, and I hope it's helped with your understanding of the RSS and how to become a member, continue your sort of membership with us and where you can go. So we're going to open up the floor now to questions. Hopefully you've been using our questions, our chat inbox throughout for any immediate questions that you've had. And my colleague Anna is on hand to still help with any questions that you might have. Apologies, I can't really see any of the chat. It's all blurry at the moment. I think my computer's just loading it. Yeah, just give me a couple of minutes, and I will try to see the chat inbox. Oh, here we go.
Oh, good. I've just typed in there. I think I have answered everything that's been asked so far, but
okay.
If I've missed any questions or if anyone's got any additional ones, please type something in and we'll hopefully pick up on them. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. Brilliant. Yeah, I can see that Anna's been busy typing away. Thank you for all these questions. Gosh. But yeah, we'll just hold on for another couple of minutes in case you have any more pressing questions to ask before we go. But on your screen, you should see my direct email. So please do get in touch directly with me if you want to discuss about upgrading or what the requirements were or any sort of questions you've got about applications. And then you've got or you can directly contact the membership team, and which we've got like two emails, if you like. So you've got membership@rss.org.uk that you can get in touch with, it's a generic one, but for specific application questions, like the criteria or the intricate documents that you need to provide, etc., etc. We've got Professional Affairs Committee, who are the people who look at the applications, and they do go through them all on a case-by-case basis and then sort of approve them or not approve them, but they will give feedback in those circumstances as to what grade, or they may make suggestions actually onto what grade you could apply for if it's not the right one that you've put the application through. So you can contact them directly on pa@rss.org.uk. But like I say, you can come through me as well if you wish. Okay, we've got a few questions that, yeah, we do have to just double checks and some that we're not able to answer, unfortunately, right now. But yes, we'll definitely take these away. And obviously we've got this, we'll have the chat still available even after we've ended the webinar. So we've still got record of the question and we can find out from the relevant teams within the departments about any questions that you've put that we can't answer ourselves. But yeah, just to round up everything then, I guess, yeah, if you've got any questions, get in touch, do speak, phone, anything you wish, email, and we'll happily answer anything. It has been recorded today, I hope, by the looks of things. Yes. So I should just sort of at the end of the call, I should be able to just download the recording and then we'll just tidy up a bit so we don't have all the sort of faffy talking about questions and answers, and then we'll make a nice little link succinct recording for you so you can reference this at any point. Brilliant. Okay, so I think we can round this up. Thanks for your time today. Thank you for joining, and for sort of showing an interest, I guess, in upgrading. It's very encouraging to see that you do want to continue after being e-students. I hope you found your e-student membership valuable, and that you've made good use of it. But like I've mentioned, you can access a whole load more benefits. And yeah, we'll speak to you soon.